Yes, indeed. How long has this been going on? That's a good song from the 1970s. This is MDB Modified Darvas Box coming at you here with a Labor Day weekend review edition. And I wanted to get this done because I'm heading out on a trip shortly to Niagara Falls, going up to upstate New York. Upstate New York is lovely in the fall, and frankly, it's the only time I'd want to be there. So, yeah, looking forward to that trip. If you've got any good tour guide suggestions, or you've been on a one of those tour boats, please drop me a comment and let me know. This week has been a very interesting week in the market. So I found myself churning my account and trading up a storm because it occurred to me there's some, and this is interesting for traders, your psychological stuff as to what's happening around you definitely impacts your trading. And if you've never seen this before, if you measure that where like you have a bad week, I'll bet you it's because you had other stuff going on. So this week, basically all I wanted to do was prepare for my trip. It's a holiday week, and put on some trades and just go on autopilot and leave. Well, that was going perfectly until Nvidia earnings, and then whoops, everything changed, and stuff I put on, I had to take off, and boy, that makes me really irritated. And I was like, come on, man, I just want to get this going. And next thing you know, psychologically, you've made twice as many trades as you intended to, and maybe all of a sudden you stop following your strategy and blah blah blah. So this actually happened to me this week, and thanks to Twitter Bull Combo, because I chat with traders a lot, and hadn't talked to him in a while, and next thing you know, we're talking about how the week is going, and all of a sudden it hits me. Wow, I've been just focused on my trip. I didn't focus on diligently following my strategy. And I tell you, you watch the tickers and they're flashing, and you just feel the urge sometimes. So stick to your strategy, and beware of the human flaws in your psyche. The market will find them and act upon them if you're not always wary about that. Okay, so for anybody who's never watched one of my videos, uh, I'm an independent trader investor, and I developed a unique trading system based on the book How I Made $2 Million in the Stock Market. Plus, I've added other concepts from the strategy, and I'm always researching or trying to find new edges and things like that. My charts have box ranges here. As you can see, they've also got different colors. The colors all tend to mean something, and most of the time they're signals. And basically, I'm looking for signals because signals tells me get ready to trade, and then the reaction to the signal tells me up time to trade, and or maybe the reaction is wrong, and then it's whoops, no, I'm not going to trade. So signals and reactions, that's what your system should be showing you a signal, and then you trade the reaction. So let's get into it here. I've got 6 different lists. We're going to look at the top 4 for triggers, and we always start with indexes. So index, AMZ, MLP index, and this is probably pretty typical for all the markets and all the charts. We got the peak week right here, about 6, 7 weeks ago, peak, and then we came down hard, and then we had this rebound, and until Friday or so, I was convinced that it was more like a dead cat bounce rebound, like bam, coming up, and then we're going to roll over and start coming down and maybe test these lows. Well, that view is wrong, or at least wrong for right now, because as you can see, markets rebounded, and this sucker closed near its high for the week. And that's what we're going to see on a lot of different charts. Otherwise, sideways box range, nothing to do here. If you're long, like I've got MLPs, not this one, but well then yeah, follow the weekly moving average. And you see, this is the one thing about moving averages. They test you and then they rebound. So again, some traders use them religiously. I don't see how you can, because am I supposed to be buying here or selling here? And then am I supposed to be buying here, or it's just it's a very imprecise tool to use, in my opinion. So I just use that as a visual and nothing more. That's my rant on moving averages. Okay, chart of ARC. Everybody hates ARC. Everybody hates Cathie Wood. That's fine. The chart here shows colors very well. Like yellow, that is a bullish signal, and there's the bullish reaction. Blues are sit up and pay attention bars, and followed most of the time by a red, but like this one shows, not always. Pinks are the opposite of the blues, sit up, pay attention, but with a bearish slant. And the orange ones here are hammers and shooters, inverse hammers or hammers. Those can be very reliable signals. And as we saw here, we had the signal here. If you shorted, sold, great. But then the big gap down, and now the rebound. This one came down a little bit, and I don't really recommend ARC, but if you really, really, really want it, well, and have a high tolerance for pain, be my guest. Oil, sideways. This gray bar here is an inside week. So maybe something's going to happen next week. Basically, the way you trade these, 50-50, like draw a line across the top or the bottom, and you just trade whichever way it breaks. If we get a double inside, well, then that means the market's getting tight, and the chances for a bigger move increase. But again, oil sort of going sideways, bouncing along the bottom of the Darvas box. NASDAQ. Okay, this is what I really wanted to show. There's that shooter bar, which is the signal to take some off, to short some, hedge your portfolio, whatever. Comes down, the huge gap down where I covered most of my shorts. Because frankly, does it get any scarier than being down like 800, 900 futures points overnight? I mean, that's terrifying. So that's about as bad as it got, and now we rebounded, and the rebound here, and you see how it's sort of coming off, sort of curling back over? Well, does that signal the dead cat bounce? And now it's going to come down to here? Well, maybe not, because Friday's close was pretty good, but there's always a chance. But then there's also a chance that we may rip higher as well. So, don't know, we'll see. But up until, let's see, daily chart, up until about here, or, somewhere in this week it was threatening, and then you see here Friday it pointed up. So, but we'll see how it resolves. Crypto, Ethereum, still bumping along its lows. Don't care. Sideways. This one, growth proxy, barely made it back to the bottom of the box. Dropped a little. Not that strong. China. There's a signal there, and what happens? The reaction to it? There was no reaction. It formed an inside bar. So would you be trading that? No. Bitcoin, this is a flawed chart because 10% they pulled out of it and formed a new trust, so I'm going to be getting rid of this soon. But still a down week right here. Gold moved up, but look at that, an inside week. It really doesn't know if it should be going higher or not. Junk bonds, this is one of the more interesting ones. Popped out of this huge Darvas box range right here, and then had a quiet week, but it's putting together an uptrend. And when junk bonds are going up, that means the economy is doing well, because it means shaky companies are going to be able to make their bond payments. I thought it also was a chase for yield. Like if the Fed does cut, well, junk bonds are going to yield less. So maybe that still plays out the case. Again, it's still a little baffling that the Fed is going to cut, but okay. I kind of get it because a friend of mine got laid off at the end of July, and she said August has been horrible. She's sort of a senior manager, and she can't get any interviews or responses, and so there may be hiring issues at companies which really sucks. Okay, I added this index, this ETF, insurance. So other people on Twitter have pointed out how well insurance stocks are doing. Marty C, if you follow him, he's been pointing out a lot of nice charts. And man, look at this. Shouldn't we all be invested in insurance? I mean, look at this trend. Good God. Put it on monthly. So I'm not adding this into the family into my trading account, but the family trust. Oh yeah, I want some of this bad boy. I want some insurance index exposure because look at that. Looks fantastic. Just straight up for years. And insurance, all they do is charge more money and we get no benefit. It's such a scam. I bet. Yeah, here's Bitcoin. See, sideways. Tendency is down, but sideways action. Note the trend change on this pink bar right here. Pink bar signals, whoa, sit up, pay attention. Now granted, it really gapped down, but that could also mean for the larger trend. Software, yep, down, back up. Are we having a dead cat bounce? If it had closed out at the bottom, I would say yeah. Because it closed up here, I don't know. And that's one thing. If I don't know, I say I don't know. Don't make up stories because your brain is happy to make up stories for you that really aren't true. Well, the CEO said this and the government did that, so therefore, no, it's the market. What is this? ITB, Homes, box breakout here, but volume was low, but it can work. It's moving higher. I'll struggle like here a little bit. But here's your big buy signal right here, the yellow bar. That was the big go signal. IWC, micros moving back up. But again, is that a dead count bounce or the V recovery? Well, IWM, drop, bounce. We'll see what happens next week. Healthcare. Insurance is one of those sectors. Healthcare is another. Look at that chart. Healthcare. That I did add this into the family trust, and look at that. It just keeps going up. Not as smooth as the insurance one, but still the right place to be. Transportations. Now this is interesting. Transports look pretty good here because we got all this junk trading in here where it made me think, boy, this economy is running out of gas. Well, now look at this right here. Maybe it's just summer doldrums. And that looks great. Closed at the top of the bar and above all this junk range right here. That looks very promising. And if transports are going up, then the economy's doing well. Gold, it's moving up slightly, but like you saw, I traded it from bought here, sold here, should have kept it. QQQs, the drop, the bounce, and a close in the upper range. So probably not a dead cat bounce. And volume-wise, sell, buy. At this point, this tells you the buyers are in control because all these sellers got cleared out, and then these guys came in, and as a result, we don't crash. Equal weightings here looks pointed higher. There's a buy symbol right there, buy signal. That's a hammer bar, so maybe that indicates that equal weighted NASDAQ is doing pretty good. RSP, equal weighted S&P 500. You know what's interesting? Compared to the NASDAQ, which is not at highs, and the RSP is making new highs. This is more mainstream America. This is like Warren Buffett stocks, insurance and financials, and a whole bunch of other things, not just less tech. And as we can see, making new highs. When this makes new highs, it means the family trust is doing well, dividend payers and things like that. So is the economy crashing? Not based on this. Again, it sort of baffles why the Fed needs to cut rates. Cutting rates when markets are at all-time highs. I mean, and that supports the theory that we're going to just have a liquidity blast off and go a shit ton higher, but we don't know. What does the Fed know that we don't? Short-term bonds keep going higher as people buy this for safety, and also lessening of inflation. When inflation was taken off, this was all inflation just dropping. Rates are going up. Now this indicates rates are dropping. Semiconductors. There was that signal right there to sell, take profits, hedge, drop down here. But look at that. The volume was less big. If you compare to the QQQs, the volume on that was bigger. And this one, it's not so big. And as a result, it didn't bounce nearly as high. This only came back to what, 50% level? Whereas others made it like back to 80%. Some made it back to 100%. So that's a good way to evaluate. Look at the S&P 500. Semiconductors dropped down, rebounded this much. The S&P dropped, rebounded it all, now moving to, that's a box breakout, although volume's low. But the RSP looks better because the RSP has less tech. So is the economy doing well? Probably. SPY is showing the same thing. Sentiment. We hit a sentiment high here, came down a little bit, but nothing crazy. Stocks above the 200-day. Yeah, it looks fine here, nothing crazy. Stocks above the 40-day, looks okay. Nothing crazy. The tan solar, barely staying alive here, laughing out loud. Moving on. TLTs. Breakout here. Big selling here. Is this going to go higher? I indicated a few weeks ago, no. You had an inside bar here. It moved higher. And then what does it do? It sells off. Because it's weak. Because, again, sellers are more in control. Doesn't mean it's going to sell all the way down. It just means that, you should temper your expectations. When you see volume combos like that, that tells you there's a difference of opinion out there. And there it is right there. So bonds, are bullish, but not that bullish. The VIX. So there's the weekly, and we got an inside bar. That's probably going to drop lower if the markets go up. Volatility is easing. This was a hell of a trade if one took it, for going from where 13, 12, whatever, up to 60 in less than 2 months, and then right back down. What a wild ride. What's that? REITs moving higher. Home builders, again, different index, but same look. Box breakout, but sort of a little struggle week. Volume's a little low. So, people are probably investigating the theory that, if the Fed cuts rates, then people are going to buy homes again. Are they? I don't know. That's probably what they're investigating right in here. What is that? XLE Energy. It formed a box, slowly moving higher. Nothing crazy on the energy front. And financials. Oh, look at this. Box breakout. Volatility. rebound, and you see the buyers here are telling you what you should do. Volatility, no, it doesn't matter, buy it. And look at that. Boom, 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 higher. My dad's very happy, that's for sure. So that's list one. Let's get into list two here. List two is textbook box breakout leaders. And on this one, we're going to see some interesting eclectic names. Breakout on Bill. So Bill has had this horrible downtrend for ages and ages, since it peaked back in 2021. And it's just been going down ever since, a house of pain, because it was overvalued. Now valuation, $5.8 billion. Based on the results they're doing, it's now a lot more reasonable. And now maybe that's a bottom. Box breakout. Now, am I rushing to buy it? No, because I want stuff that's out there making new highs. But this probably means there's some money to be made on the long side here. Maybe it goes like back to 70 for now. I don't know. BLND, I own this one. Box breakout, nice volume, some sellers. And now we've got a potential signal bar. I've got to pay attention to this one right here, and we'll see sort of what happens with that. Let's see, set an alert on that. Because maybe it's time to sell this, or maybe I just hold it for a while. Point is, my trade's not really in any danger. Is it wildly profitable? No, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Berkshire, Warren Buffett, look at that. Bang, 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 bang. Matches the financials, doesn't it? Look at the volume. Buy, buy, buy. And the Fed wants to cut rates. It's just a mind boggle. Chewy. Box breakout, look at the volume right there. Textbook Darvas box breakout. Now this has a blue bar signal. Many times they're followed by a red week, but not always. But if you're going to buy it, well, it's giving you some signal here. Costco, box breakout. But look at this bar. That's actually a negative bearish bar. So be cautious. If you put a trade on here, there's a lovely signal right there. And there's your trigger line. If you bought it down here, you're fine. But it's just if you see this now and you go, oh, box breakout, I'm going to buy it. Just know that this bar, this is, you should be cautious there. DHI, home builders, great textbook breakout, moving higher. LMT, moving higher. And look at that, the inside bar, moving higher. MDB, yep, MDB's always moving up. My namesake ticker, it's been struggling down here, formed a little base here, and now boom, box breakout. Is that the most compelling breakout you've ever seen? No, but maybe there's a long trade in there. Monday, box breakout, there's the volume. This one's more compelling to me than MDB because it's moving closer up to highs. I don't own it, but maybe I should. Maybe we should. What do we think? Ferrari, box breakout, and this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous chart. All it does is move higher. The rich get richer and they buy Ferraris. Although I'm sure Ferrari's got other businesses in here somewhere, but pretty good. Rivian now has formed a box range. I drew a box on here. And is this the most compelling pullback? No, not really. In fact, because it's now in a box range, I'm going to move it. There's no reason to keep it in that list, so I'll move it out of that list. Roku, Box breakout followed by red. This again is not my number one choice because it was a number one back in here. But maybe there's a few bucks to be made there. Defense, RDX, moving higher. Look at that. There was a nice trade in there. Shopify. Box breakout, big volume. I tried it in here. I ended up selling to risk management this week. And what did it do? It didn't crash. It just closed a little lower. Maybe buy it again, but at this point there's no signals. And it could come back down or it could go back up. I don't know. Any signals on the daily? Well, not really. So keep an eye on it, but don't do anything. Shark Ninja. Boom. Box breakout. What? We all should be buying Shark Ninja because look at that follow through. Looks great. Spotify. Box breakout here. A scary bar right here. It did open lower, but rebounded and now continued an uptrend. TKO Group. Box breakout. Moving. Looks getting primed to move higher. Upstart. Box breakout. Yellow bar. Tons of signals. What does it do? It's moving higher. But this bar right here, that if there was more volume, it might be a shooter. But it's sort of call this a cautionary bar. Basically, if you're long this, you should be paying attention and put an alert right down there. It may still go higher, but if it's going to pull back, well, maybe next week. I don't know. Venom, oil and gas. I own this one in my income portfolio. Box breakout, moving higher. Because this is moving higher, it makes me think oil prices are eventually going to move higher also. But I don't know for sure. And one of the kings, Walmart, box breakout. And look at that. All it does is move higher. That's exactly what you want to see. No doubts, no hesitation. There was that lovely signal right there. So that's a pretty good list of Darvas box breakouts. And now let's get into bullish signals. So bullish signals are stuff that's bullish, that triggered a signal, but are not necessarily fit the criteria of the box breakout. Make sense? Simple, right? Okay, this one, AEHR. Small cap darling, but with a checkered history because it moved higher, it crashed, and now I guess it's sort of on the comeback trail. But this is a big breakout here with big volume. So the volume is the reason to take this one seriously. There you go. There's your signal right there. It's sort of a hammer bar looking bar inside weak, and yeah, it moved higher. Nothing crazy, but if you went long on that signal, you're making some money. And again, long term, what do the buyers in here know? Now, they didn't really defend it down here, but maybe that means long term this might have legs. So that's how to evaluate. Affirm, I put this on the signals list because big volume here, big volume move. It had earnings. Not really a box breakout. I mean, nothing I'm really interested in, but, you know, it's doing well. I personally am not a believer in buy now, pay later. I think it's BNPN, buy now, pay never, but obviously I'm wrong. They're doing something right. Stock is up. APP, I put this on here as well because, yeah, it's moved up now 2 weeks in a row from what I would consider to be a viable level. So it looks good. No red volume. All right. BLDR, box breakout, but volume was low. And now what did it do? It pulled back this week. So Is this the one you want to buy? Put your retirement in? This is directly related to home builders also. I think they supply all the wood and stuff. And, you know, are people going to come back and buy homes if the Fed cuts? I don't know. Where the bulls don't appear to be too enthusiastic about it. So, I don't know. Okay, this one, Coors. It's got lovely green volume along the bottom. It had a great signal in here. I bought a little prematurely. Turned out to be a good idea because it saved me from this volatility in here. But box breakout here, volume is light. And what happens with light volume? Well, you get any kind of negativity and it churns its way. So I sold it in here and it churned all week long and closed like a penny above or a penny below. It makes me wonder, does this have a box breakout in its future? I don't know. One problem I see is up here. It has 170 million shares outstanding. That's a lot for a low price stock. It would be better if they had only 70 million. Because how much effort does it take to move 170 million shares? A lot. If it goes up $1, that's $170 million in value. It's already got a almost $2 billion valuation. This moves up $2. You know, that's a lot of value in a short period of time. That's the one problem with stocks with too many shares outstanding. And BLND, the one I'm in, has the same problem. 250 million shares outstanding. If it goes up $1, that's like a year move. So no wonder it's not ripping multiple points. The sweet spot, in my opinion, is between 30 and 70, well, 30 to 100 million. That's the best. So I'm out of this one, but it looks okay for now. CVLT, just moving higher. All this one does is move higher. Look at that. Dell, anybody get a Dell? Blue bar signal. Some big volume. Would I be buying this though? Not really. There's no box structure. All we've got is a blue signal, so we'll pay attention to that. DOCN, yellow bar, buy signal, but hasn't really done anything. I give this one more week. If it doesn't do anything, it comes off this list. GE moving higher. GM, General Motors, moving higher. IoT, box breakout, low volume, but still maintained above here. Netflix, box breakout, but low volume, and it's a inside week. If you're gonna play this, there's your buy level. Right there. ServiceNow. This is one of these rebounds where it made it all back. Down and then rebound, and now look at it moving higher. And the Fed wants to cut rates? Jeez. ONON. Box breakout, volume was low, but volume came in this week. Moving higher. Roblox. Breakout here, got volume here, sort of went nowhere here, but overall, bullish. Reddit, there's that, this one's bullish because it's moved up from that signal. Not easy though, because you see the intraday volatility. But because it's positive, I listed it here. SE, moved up. I own this one from right here. Pissed me off that it's coming down, but it's still doing all right. Uber, big signal here, box breakout here, volatility, but managed to close a smidge above. URI moved up. Volume's missing, but still higher. This one, VRT. There's a bullish signal if you saw it and you took it. Otherwise, not doing a whole lot. And last on this list, Zeta keeps moving up. Whoop. That's a good trend. Okay, so is the market having a dead cat bounce? No, at least not that we can tell. Is the market bullish? Yeah, look at this trigger list. That's a decent list. Are they the greatest triggers? How about, is the market bearish? Well, here's the list of triggers I came up with this week. So, you know, there's some decent ones here also. So, I'd call this a 50-50 market. Airbnb dropping, hasn't done anything. Keep on the list for now. A-Lab. This is a symphony of signals. Okay, it's coming down. I covered down in here based on, that was the big gap down. And this was the first one on the screens to turn green. So I was like, oh, cover it. Now we got a buy signal here. The buy signal works in here. But then a funny thing happened. It then sold off, ripping up higher, and then whoops. The market changed its mind. And now this here is a shooter. So it goes from a hammer to a shooter, all in the space of a week. So now, maybe this one's worth shorting if it breaks that low. Let's set an alert. And that, boys and girls, is how you trade off signals. Yeah, you may have taken the long signal here and you made money in here, but then if you paid attention, you probably hit the bail button and you still made money. Don't get me wrong. You probably still would have made money, but maybe something's a little different going on. Bros. 2 inside weeks and now a little bearish tint. Doesn't look good. Sell H. I'm short this one. It keeps going lower. I put this as maybe a trigger stop loss. See what happens? It did not go off. Stay short. That's how you ride trends, by the way. Just keeps going. Even if it has a green day, as long as it doesn't do anything crazy, like hit the high each week. As long as it doesn't do anything like that, stay in it. That's how you trend follow. Coin. Sorry, Bitcoiners, but I am short coin. And look at that, a box breakdown. The saving grace here is that volume was low, so it's not a textbook box breakdown. Otherwise, that looks bearish. Coming off that. Notice the trend change here. Green, 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 generally green, green, green. Oh, pink bar. What happens? Everything changes. Now, should we have shorted it here at 230? Yes. But this would have been hard to have held onto it. So instead, short the box breakdown and you're making money. ELF. Boy, if this one didn't screw me up this past week. Last couple of weeks, really. So long signal there. I bought it right in there. And everything was great up here until this week when it had this opening gap down. And at that point it was like, get me out. Whoopsie. And then I covered it, you know, right up in there by the open. When you wake up to a gap down, just don't ask questions, just get out. Then I decided to short it, and I shorted it, and I covered a little bit. Oh no, I tried to buy it again. I can't remember. net result is I am now short ELF. And we have a Darvas box breakdown, just barely, a smidge. Volume is light, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I wanted to go out with a balanced long-short portfolio. A lot of the shorts I put on failed. And so, but I've got coin and ELF. This one here, ESTC, just a horrible box breakdown. That was an earnings. Oof. Man, can you imagine being long all through this just to suffer through this? And you had a white bar sell signal trigger off there, just telling you, get out. Don't stick around. And look at that net result. And because this was a gap, people didn't have a frickin' chance. Got to be careful. GH. Messed around with it in here. Pink bar, and it's been going downhill ever since with a lot of red volume. And there's a white bar sell signal. It's just doing horrible. No position. What is this? IREN. Pink bar here, went down. Another pink bar that's potentially bearish. We'll see how it goes here. Set an alert. That's a warning. ML. Okay. This one I'm long from here, but as was pointed out to me in my conversation, I really bought this without any signals or any box patterns or anything. It's because I know this stock very well. Bought it back here, traded it, sold some here, sold more here, sold the final two pieces here. Made a lot of money on this one, so I have nostalgia for it. But as was pointed to me correctly, I bought it, but there's no signals, there's no triggers, there's nothing going on. So this really is a mistake. And I really shouldn't have done that. Right now, I'm just a smidge profitable, so that's good. But only because I got my ass bailed out yesterday. Right here. Before that, I was underwater a little bit. So I'm going to have to reevaluate this, but it's an example of how you can do stupid things and not follow your system based on emotions and feeling. So I shouldn't have bought it, but maybe it'll turn out okay, otherwise I'll sell it. Microsoft, is that the dead cat bounce? Bounce up. No, it's still not rolling over. Just not very well. NVIDIA, pink bar. I did short NVIDIA, but I'm short at 120, so I'm only up 60 cents. Not a ton. But that is, again, a warning signal, so we'll see what happens next week. And with any warning signal, you set alerts. Rig, just moving down. Serve, there was that signal there. Moving down. I traded this from here and I sold it here because you had a big ass signal right here. Sometimes trading these is just wonderful because it's just clear as day. SG, unfortunately, for longs, this was a bullish bar and all it did was sell down. And the failure of a bullish bar is definitely bearish. SMCI, there was your signal back here back in July. Pink bar, and then it sort of futzed around and then had the big, is this company a fraud? I do not know. But that's pretty ugly. Would I be interested in this one? No, not really. Snow, pink bar, I traded this a couple times and I shorted it again, and now I'm short it one more time. I'm short at about 116, so I'm only up a smidge, but this caused me a lot of action. But again, the long-term trend on this, down, and this is on danger of a box breakdown on the monthly. And look at that right there. So I think it's just a matter of time before this goes from triple digits to double digits, in my opinion. But there are some crazy bulls who decided, oh yeah, maybe we ought to be buying it in here. But I think that's just crazy. Stinger, signal right here. It's moving down. Bottom edge of the box range. We'll see what happens. And that's really all I got for you guys for triggers. And everything else is sort of going sideways. Like here, I'll show you, since to keep this video quick, like my watching list. I got Apple on the watching list. Apple, the V, but it would have been on the bullish list if it closed above. But instead, nope, it's just sideways. Any volume? No real volume. So again, not looking like anything special. AMD, what is that? Could this be a dead cat bounce? Drop, bounce, down, could be. Amazon, I shorted Amazon in here off of the trigger line. I thought it was going to go down, and then it simply rebounded. It went down and then whoop, right back up. Any dead cat bounce? No, not really. But this was saved on Friday. So Friday really changed a lot of stuff. Let's see. Doink. And you see there is actually a yellow bar buy signal right there. Now that's on the daily. Do I take daily signals? Well, not really, but I do note them. And that looks bullish. So, well, potentially not mega bullish, but an example of signals. Signals happen everywhere, so you got to be discerning and figure out which ones you're going to take. The last one I'll show you, and then we'll wrap this up, is GME. I bought some GME here on Friday. Well, that looks promising, but no real signals. You had a big signal, the big start signal right there. That's when Roaring Kitty really got going. And then it's been sort of a mess ever since. Nothing crazy. Big volume. Has not been any big red selling volume. But look what happened on the daily chart. There's that signal. And look, volume. So I decided to put some money into it, and we'll see what happens. So anyways, that's what I got. I hope you guys have a great trading week, a great long holiday for Labor Day. Oh, and the last thing I want to look at, NAM index. 81's not crazy. 83 down to 56, back to 81. That's very V-ish. So no insights there. So sentiment, we're looking okay. We look sort of mixed and matched on bullish versus bearish. So really, we just got to have a good long weekend and see what happens next week. Hope you enjoyed this video. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.